Morning to you.
Good morning.
I think it was Peter Bone, wasn't it, at the beginning of that piece, saying that you might be on board still when it comes to it tomorrow. Might you be, the DUP, willing to vote for this deal?
I can give you an absolute assurance that we will not be voting for the deal tomorrow when it comes before the House of Commons. Why would we, when this deal goes against everything, first of all, that the government promised they would not do to Northern Ireland, i.e. siphoning us off from the rest of the United Kingdom, putting a border down the Irish Sea, ensuring that businesses in Northern Ireland faced additional costs, administrative burdens and isolation from the GB market. And at the same time, I mean, this is the insult to injury, overturning all of the safeguards which there are in the Belfast Agreement, which they say has to be defended line by line, by changing the voting system to ensure that the arrangements that we go into in terms of regulatory alignment and customs union cannot be removed by the Northern Ireland Assembly.
And you will vote as a bloc, and you will vote against. There's no question of abstaining, is that right?
And we'll be voting against this deal. It's too important to allow this deal to go through.
And if a Conservative MP says to you, Sammy, I'm not sure what to do, I'm wavering, what are you saying to them?
We will be encouraging them to take the stance which the Conservative Party have always said they will take, that they want to protect the Union, and vote with us to oppose this deal.
Have you had those conversations already?
We have had that conversation with many Conservative MPs, and I can understand the dilemma that many of our friends and colleagues in the Conservative Party are now facing, because as you said in the introduction, some of them are being hugged, some are being harassed by the whips. This is not an easy issue for anyone, I accept that, but we will be encouraging them because we believe that this does have an impact on the unity of the United Kingdom, will spark further nationalist sentiment in Scotland, and will be detrimental to the economy of Northern Ireland.
What do you think of Boris Johnson as a politician now?
Well, we always knew that Boris would be putting the interests of his own party first. He has made a judgment, I think wrongly, that a deal at any price with the EU is important to meet his 31st of October deadline. So we were always prepared for this moment. But
have you changed your view of him?
Well, I mean, my view of him always was that Boris would do what was good for himself and for the Conservative Party. That we still have many things in common with him, and I've got to say that during this process, we did work with him. He kept us very close to the negotiations. We actually made huge concessions, by the way, to try and help him to get a deal with the European Union. It wasn't that we stuck our heels in. Don't forget, we were the ones who agreed that we would accept some kind of regulatory alignment, albeit with the safeguard that there would be an opportunity for the Assembly to vote to get out of it if it was damaging or if alternative arrangements could be found. We actually moved from just that alignment being on agricultural goods to all goods made in Northern Ireland. So we did try to facilitate him and in his negotiations, and are disappointed that he did not stick by the red lines that he said he would.
Isn't there a reality, though, that should be frightening you, even if it's not? And that is that if he loses, but he does get his general election, and he wins a majority, suddenly then he doesn't need you at all, and you lose any voice that you have had, and that is a real risk for you now.
Equally, of course, if he wins this general election, he has got much more leverage with the European Union. I believe that he's been forced into this deal with the European Union because they know that he is vulnerable in Parliament at the moment, and he knows that he's vulnerable in Parliament at the moment. With a bigger majority, I believe he could be more robust in his negotiations.
That's interesting. So you think he could actually come back on side, as it were, post-election, that even if you weren't then the difference between him winning and losing anything in Parliament, that actually you think, fundamentally he wants the things that you do. Is that right?
Well, yes, I do, and I suspect he's been forced into this, first of all, by a combination of the Labour Party's Surrender Act and the way in which that's tied his hands, and the fact that the European Union know that he's vulnerable in Parliament, and therefore were not willing to give him some of the concessions which they could have given him. If he's got a bigger majority, I believe that, and it's one of the reasons why we believe that voting this down tomorrow is not the end of the game, but in fact it probably opens up possibilities for the government which are not available at present after a general election.
Sammy Wilson, thank you very much.